Last year, I think that Lions fans have come to a realization that, we were in a rebuild. It was going to take some time to take this thing down, kind of put pieces in place. And nobody was expecting, obviously, last year playoffs. I don't think anybody was expecting, them to compete for playoffs even this year. But when you have those fair expectations and the teams start to exceed that a little bit, yeah, that's where you get that enormous amount of excitement and optimism. And that's something that we've seen the last 5 weeks. It's just crazy thinking back, 6-7 weeks ago.
Yes,
we're talking about
worried about Dan Campbell's job.
Yeah, we're talking about, Aaron Glenn being gone. We're talking about, is Dan Campbell the right guy? We're talking about, well, maybe we could get a top, 2 pick where we're sitting. And you fast forward a month and a half, and it's like, this is the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Correct.
We're talking about, you're coming off of a big, win against a 10-win football team, a division rival.
Right.
You're coming off 5 of 6, last month and a half. My goodness, it's just, it's been fun, man. And I'm happy. I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for the vets. I'm happy for guys like, Taylor Decker, who's been around a long time, and he's been through a lot of ups and downs. And, even this year, when they hit that losing streak, you could just tell those guys were just mentally worn out. They were sick of losing. And for them to turn the corner, you can't help but to be happy for him. And even Dan Campbell, you can't help but to be happy for him too. He's been a guy that he's been through the ringer, man. Last year, early this year, it's been probably a very vast emotional roller coaster for those guys.
Yeah.
And to see them get their moment now where everybody's loving on them. They're getting positive, press from not only us but national press. It's those guys deserve it. They do, and you can't help but to be excited for them.
248-539-9797 is the telephone number. As a fellow big guy, were you envious, jealous of what Penei Sewell did?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. It was incredible. Anytime you see a play like that involves an offensive lineman, the first thing you think is just like you get overwhelmed with like joy. Lomas and I were completely just like fanboying.
You hear Lomas
oh man, it was so beautiful. And then there's a party like, man, like I played 10 years. I never touched. Well, I always want to do that. Even
2 years.
Yeah, you kind of get jealous a little bit, but my goodness, that was so awesome. And it wasn't a fat boy catch where you just like lob it up and you just got to tuck it into your gut and kind of roll. Like he had to kind of go up and high point that ball, bring it down. Get the first down, stay in bounds. Like that was an impressive play, man.
Stop.
And even, you guys probably won't remember this, but 2010 we were playing the Patriots, and Dan Connolly was like a backup guard. We tried to squib a kickoff. He ends up picking it up. Damn near took the thing to the house. I think he took it down to like the 3-yard line, and we're sitting on our sideline just kind of like, good job, man. Like, that was pretty cool, right? You're usually pissed when the other team makes a big play like that, but it was an offensive lineman. It was like a 70-yard return.
Wow.
And we're sitting there, and we're just like, good for you, buddy. Like, good for you, man. Like, that is awesome to see a big fella just rolling,
and
man.
they sold it because they did something with Sewell in motion
they did the
earlier.
Same play. I think it was just 2 plays before that.
Yeah.
They lined him up kind of in that wing position. He came over, and he put a seal on, I think it was Daniil Hunter. Mm-hmm. And then, 2 plays later, I think it was, same motion. Same look. You could even see the defensive end kind of fell to the ground because he was expecting Sewell to seal him again, and just that's Ben Johnson has been great the past 4 or 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just watching the flow of the game, watching the chemistry, watching the calls at the right time, watching the play action game match up perfectly with the run game. Even the last 2 games, guys, they haven't been great running the football. No. They've barely been good, to be honest.
Right, the yardage is inflated because of the fake punt.
Yeah, the 42-yard run yesterday. But that hasn't been great. But it's still teams still have to respect it, and it's so fun watching them. The play action game work because of the run game, and you're matching it up, and you're showing the linebackers and the safeties the same things that they see on run plays. And the timing of the plays are and they're well designed, and you're getting guys in the game. You're drawing plays up for, I don't know if that play was designed for Jameson Williams. It was kind of like Goff just looked up and saw nobody around him, was like, awesome, let's put it over the top, just put it in his vicinity, let him go make a play for a touchdown. The mixing in the no huddle, mixing in the tempo, like it all feels like it's coming at the right time, and Ben Johnson has been He's been incredible. I think that the game plans the last couple weeks especially have been phenomenal. And I think that obviously when you combine that with the players' execution, you get a dynamic offense. And that's what we've seen the last 5 weeks.
I want to know your thoughts on the fake punt. Not the timing of it, the success of it, but the taunting penalty that happened during it.
So I still haven't seen it. Did they show a replay on
Yes,
TV copy? Because we didn't see one in the stadium.
As far away from the play as you could get, the opposite gunner.
Okay, you're right.
I understand it wasn't like it was a bad call.
No.
It was a legit call.
Okay. What did he like? Stand over a guy or flex on a guy or?
He started talking trash to him, and the other guy.
Yeah,
like,
I was pointing at his face and doing all that stuff, and so you're talking about a guy that is fringe to begin with.
That's not. He just got called up to an active roster.
Right.
Do you think he's looking for a job today?
Probably. Yeah. Unfortunately,
that was my initial reaction. Unfortunately, he did it to himself.
I know. I don't like to. Hey, get out the door. You screwed up. But yes, he did it to himself. But I just don't like calling for guys' jobs. I don't want it to seem like that. But yes, if you're a practice squad fringe type player, you can't afford to go out and play, 2 snaps and one of them cost your team a 15-yard penalty for doing something stupid. If you get a holding or something, whatever,
that's
those happen.
Completely different, right?
Yeah, for taunting, for something completely undisciplined. I don't expect to see 33
on the field again.
Out there on the field for the Lions.
Well, what I also loved about yesterday was the fact that a lot of the coaching things that I and others have been critical of, they, in my opinion, did right. They milked the play clock down to like 1 or 2 seconds a lot, starting with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They're just basic coaching things that worked perfectly. I mean, even, people were saying, well, why did they even kick a field goal at the end? Suppose it was blocked and they, typical Lions, they're up 8, why kick a field goal, but that was the right thing to do as well.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could probably be having a different conversation if they don't convert that fake punt.
Right.
I mean, it was like 4th and 7.
Yeah,
It was a long 4th down in your own territory. I mean, if they don't get that, people probably have a different tune this morning about what are you doing? Defense playing well. What are you doing? But they executed it and obviously made the coaches look good. And yeah, you're right. I mean, even the 4-minute drill at the end of the game, getting aggressive. Not being satisfied, just trying to run the clock out, but trying to get a first passing the ball to get a first down to keep the ball in your hands as long as possible. Taking the points when the points are there.
Mm-hmm. Punting when they should have, and Fox punting out of bounds, not off a corner, but it was really good.
I mean, the couple fourth downs that you went for it, like understandable, and that's something that we hit on last week a little bit, is that this team is already, guys, like in that playoff mode. Like they don't talk about it, but they know if they lose, not a good chance of getting to the playoffs. You're going to need a lot of help, but that's why I don't mind, being a little bit more aggressive, treating every game like a playoff game, going for it on 4th and 1, trying to maximize those possessions, because Jared Goff said it last week. He said, hey, if we win, we might have a chance. If we don't win, not looking good for us.